Hello you. This video is sponsored by Fables, Citadel of the Unseen Sun. That thing that I mentioned like a month ago, and now it's less than a month away. It's a super cool project set in Atharis, and it's the first official Grim Hollow adventure ever. It's an episodic story that takes place in the Estoian Empire. The whole thing is a complex twist on classic vampire tyranny where their weaknesses have been expelled from the world, including the sun. You can check it out now and set up your subscription, which gets you all the tools that you need to run each episode each month for at least 6 months. And then you blow up a lich by returning the sun at the end, probably. Or maybe the lich is the sun, look at that thing. Click the link below to follow the updates before their January launch and enjoy a runesmith. Alright, let's see if I remember how to do this after a month and a half. I've been working on book 3 for a while, and these dang things are a full-time job. So I've been running out of ideas, especially since the basically well ran dry, but then I realized that running out of ideas just doesn't stop some people. And let me tell you, the quality of some of this stuff is top-shelf, grade-A trash can sweat. Without further stage setting, let's look at some of the classic monsters that are as unusable as the quinoa your roommate left you 2 years ago. Does it expire? Does it even taste good? I'll never know. First off is a fiend that's so disinteresting it feels like they took tieflings, gave them wings, and then just removed all the rest of the interesting details. And tieflings by themselves can be described using a jumbo marker on a flashcard. Devil people. That is the cambion, one of several humanoids that would be easy to cosplay with one color of body paint and a trip to Spirit Halloween. Their descriptive traits include generically evil, lacking in personality, and secondary to something more interesting. They're so fiendishly wonderbred that they aren't even demons or devils, they're just, I don't know, red? And to a lesser extent, I also want to point out that the bearded devil has actual hair but no actual beard, and that his name, the bearded devil, sounds more like an IPA than a monster. Then there's the grell. I just find the visual of what I can only guess is a 1.5 foot tall brain with pipe cleaners and an oversized beak to be... I really have nothing. These things are solitary hunters that float around caves until they can drop down onto your party's gnome and haul them away like a Half-Life barnacle. Also, they speak grell. I love it when monsters are given useless languages for no reason. I honestly wish it happened more. But, like, if you poked it once with a toothpick, it would have 2 war flashbacks and a seizure. This thing is more exposed than a holiday uncle. Next, I want to briefly visit another offshoot fiend, the hellhound. You gotta have hellhounds in the same sense that you gotta have nightmares and, like, vampires, but you can tell that they took all of 45 seconds to put this one together. It's a dog with fire. It's just a fire dog. But any paragraph header with the word evil in it is inherently funny to me because nobody knows what the fuck that means. These hellhounds are smarter than mundane beasts, and their lawful nature makes them good at following orders. Their evil disposition means that they can't be trained to be anything but a ruthless killer. If a hellhound isn't allowed to indulge in its malevolent hunger, it quickly abandons or turns against its master. Let me rephrase that for you. Dogs are stupider than this dog because it can take orders, except when it doesn't. Next, the jackalwere. You probably didn't know this existed because it's not even a real therianthrope. See this cute little pup, the jackal? See this winter beefcake? Wait, no, sorry, see this wolf? Now let's put the jackalwere and the werewolf next to each other. It looks like a fucking meme. But the best part is that jackalweres are the spider pigs of werepeople. Well, the devil was in Georgia, another demon went down to Zimbabwe, slapped a wild dog and turned it into... fantastic. Another goddamn kidnapping slave race. If I had a nickel for every one of these, I could afford a lot of bubble gum. So by now, it should be obvious that I'm flipping through the book, and can I just say that I would love to use mephits in my game, but they look exactly like NFT variants of Eustace Bag, so I'm never going to touch them. By far my favorite, and I think it actually got voted number 4 out of the top 100 monsters in 5e, is the ogrillon. It's nothing. It's the least anything I think I've ever seen. They very literally had to increase the size of the art on the page and slap in some random ass tools because nobody could come up with more than 5 sentences and a stat block that rivals the size of my self-esteem and my penis. Now here's what I actually think happened. The Ogre Gangs section of the previous monster text spilled over onto this page, so they had to throw in an extra filler monster together after they were done writing, and nobody wanted to. I love it. Then there's the Piercer. I really want to point out a major note here that I recognize because I've been making stat blocks left and right, but here's how I think this was made. Huh. I wonder if those ever fall onto people. Clinging to the veilings of caverns and large subterranean passages. But then they put the idea to stats, and they realized that if this thing deals falling damage, it might fucking die on impact all the time. So they bumped its challenge rating and its constitution up a little bit, and gave it literally 1 anti-suicide hit point. And then in addition to that, they gave it resistance to fall damage, but it's also not resistance to fall damage. There's also the Stirge, which many of us became aware of while looking at nothing in particular. I know very well that a lot of these date back to 1st edition, but combining a mosquito and a vampire bat is like a double negative. It's a simple fusion concept, arguably as lazy as fusing like a crow and a rabbit together. Boy golly gee, wasn't that a fun ride. The last string of videos helped lighten my workload a little bit, but my dear sweet editor has come down with a case of education and will be dying very soon. Also, I haven't been in a D&D campaign all year, so I don't have much in the way of stories or experience-based advice anymore. I can't really talk about what I'm working on because I'd rather you guys see it all in full, but here's some teaser art. Look at that thing. That's a playable race. I honestly want to work on Tall Tales more. I've gone maybe a little too long without an official podcast and a consistent live show, so those would be nice to do instead. Until the next video.